to Survive and Advance on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Survive and Advance is brought to you by Replenishing Care and their PEMF machine. To find out more about the future of sports medicine and Replenishing Care products, go to thegruelingtruth.net, click on the banner at the top of the page. It'll take you there. I'm your host for Survive and Advance, Mike Goodpaster. I almost forgot my own name there for a second. And both of my co-hosts are my one co-host and our guest today, because Matt, if I call you both co-hosts, then Steve will go off and feel threatened. Of course, first up...
We don't want that.
No, 1981, this man combined for 26 points with Isaiah Thomas to win the 1981 National Championship. Help me welcome to the show, number 34, Steve Risley.
And probably the only person in the world right now not under an investigation by the NFL. But we'll get to that.
Brings us to our next guest, who is under investigation by Roger Goodell. You can hear him during the football season with the San Francisco 49ers show, and you can also hear him on the NFL Weekly Pick'em show with myself, Mark Cooper, Brian Schmidt, and whoever else is on that show. Help me welcome to the show, Matt Andruscavage. How you doing, Matt?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so
Matt, I got one request. Oh. Matt, save me, please. Save me from Goodpaster.
It's impossible.
I'll do what I can.
He couldn't save himself. Save himself. He's not going to be.
His head is swelling today because
I have to tread my own water first, and then I'll toss a life jacket over to you as soon as I can tread water myself.
Yeah, well, Goodpaster's getting tough to live with now because officially yesterday he got us on Spotify. So you now can find the Grueling Truth and Survive and Advance now on Spotify. And, you know, as part of the perks, I went to a private party last night with Jay-Z and Taylor Swift. So there you go.
And
Major promoter for
Spotify member. Scavage this morning bailed him out of jail for it. So that's how we got Steve here right now.
For crashing a party.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, who
it took a lot of strings to pull, but...
All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's start off with the sports news of the day. We'll lead off with, I guess, Wimbledon, because Steve, watched
Wimbledon. All I can tell you right now is the men's semifinals of Kentucky yesterday. The big news is Roger Federer was outed after actually being up 2-0 and having match point. Kevin Anderson came back and won the next 3 sets and outed him in a pretty intense 13-11 fifth set, where, Mike, you should be thrilled because unlike soccer, they don't do a shootout. They just keep playing till somebody wins by 2.
Well, I'm just worried, Steve, because you just said on 2 occasions, Steve, that Roger Federer was outed yesterday. In the world we live in, I don't think it means the same as what you think it means.
Well, you know, I'm out here in Los Angeles, and that word outed is so common vernacular out here. Undocumented and outed are the 2 most common words used in Los Angeles.
All right, what else you got, Steve?
Okay.
I know the World Cup went exactly the way I said, and you and Lucas were wrong.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I watched the damn game yesterday, and I can tell you what, without a shootout, that is the most boring freaking sport in the world. I mean, it is painful to watch. They had to go an extra 30 minutes overtime, because everybody knows they do a 30-minute overtime period after they've gone. It's 90 minutes of regular boredom, sheer boredom. Then you come into and who we all predicted, and as much as here's the funny part about this, as much as Mike Goodpaster despises soccer, we had a conversation about this on the show earlier in the week. We all picked Belgium. And I know it's Belgium. I just call it Belgium. And we all picked England. And the only person to pick France and Croatia was Mike. And the idiot knows nothing about soccer, doesn't want to know anything about soccer, could care less about soccer. And he's the only one who gets the predictions right. So Sunday we will have a finals in the World Cup, which I will not be watching because there'll be a NASCAR race. Well, actually, the NASCAR race is in Kentucky on Saturday night, so I probably will be watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians to see what a billionaire 19-year-old really looks like. But they'll be playing for the World Cup. It will be France and Croatia. Croatia's first time ever getting this far and getting into it. So for a country that size, it is a big deal worldwide for them to get to this World Cup. championships. France has won it before, so not a big deal there. Wimbledon, the finals will be Serena Williams, just coming off a pregnancy and, the 25th seed, marching right back into the finals, restoring her place atop of women's tennis where she should be. And there are those who will say maybe atop the men's tennis ranking as well, because she probably could beat half the men out there.
No, she couldn't.
And it will be, I know, I agree. I just saying that because, I don't know why I said it. She'll be playing Angelique Kerber in the championship. I don't know anything about Angelique Kerber. I think she's, I don't know, she's Angelique Kerber. The men's semifinals will be John Eisner, the lone American player left in the Wimbledon, against Kevin Anderson, who upset Roger Federer. And then for the 56th time, Nadal and Djokovic will play in the other. Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, who they have met 56 times. It was probably the match of the tournament right now. We'll play in the semifinals. Again, the problem is seeding these guys rather than just having an open draw, letting them play. They'll play in the semifinals, and the finals will be anticlimactic because whoever wins that probably will win in 3 sets in the championship match. They're the 2 of the 3 best players in the world.
Well, they do see
Other than that,
Steve, they do see
I know. I know they do seed them, and the seedings, again, are somebody's opinion. So, or they're based on a technical based on the last 5 weeks.
Federer played Nadal. Nobody knew Federer.
Played Nadal, right. I know. Okay. I know. So, whatever. And all the rest of the news is, once again, the NFL puking on themselves, publicity-wise, giving job security to Roger Goodell to be Magnum PI, Peter Colombo, and anybody other private sleuth detective he wants to be. Crime Scene NFL. That's a good one. It's Crime Scene CSA with Crime Scene NFL. That's a great show. Roger Goodell stars in Crime Scene NFL.
We could do that.
You know what? I got a meeting with a Hollywood producer. That's a great show. Crime Scene NFL. Because I went through the list. There's already been 28 suspensions in the NFL, and the damn season hasn't even started yet. 28 suspensions. We keep Goodell busy so much he couldn't screw up the NFL anymore. How good is that?
Well, he'll screw up the investigations. Let's talk about the investigations a little bit. LaShawn McCoy, of course.
Yeah, you guys.
Steve, what's your take on LaShawn McCoy?
Well, it's getting interesting. It's getting really interesting. I mean, and I'm looking forward to hearing from the powers that be, the NFL gurus here. But I'll tell you, if you saw the pictures, they're brutal. Somebody beat the living tar out of this poor girl. I don't know what to take of it. Right now, McCoy's proclaiming he's been in Miami training. He wasn't there. He's hired a prominent defense attorney, which I don't know why you hire a prominent defense attorney unless you've got something to defend. Allegedly, he wanted her to return jewelry. She'd been living in the house rent-free for 5 months. I think this is all pretty much what everybody knows right now. And we'll have to wait and see and go out. But I just, where there's smoke, there's generally fire. So, and somebody that goes out immediately and hires a very, very high-priced defense attorney is probably doing more than just trying to exonerate himself immediately from the process. That's my take on it.
All right, so my take on this is this, and Matt, I'll let you address this, is when we look at this, I'm sure this is going to go into the season probably. So the big thing is, under the NFL's personal conduct policy, a player can be placed on paid administrative leave by the league if he is formally charged with a violent crime. The police defines that as use of physical force or a weapon to injure or threaten another person, having committed sexual assault, having engaged in animal abuse, that's the Michael Vick law, or having engaged in other conduct that poses a genuine danger to the safety or well-being of another person. So what does the NFL do here if this is still under investigation going into the season?
Well, typically what happens is you can look at things like the Ezekiel Elliott situation last year. Obviously this isn't the same thing as the Tom Brady situation from a couple of years ago, but as investigations go in the NFL, as it goes into the season, they can try to suspend them But, once there's an appeals, it doesn't go, so this is going to be kind of like, I'm guessing this will be a lot like the Ezekiel Elliott. But as of right now, we don't know anything, really. The pictures are horrible. If he did it, he should be kicked out of the league.
Well, if he did, he should be in jail for a long time. So kicked out of the
league
probably doesn't even matter.
No question about it. No question about it. But, I remember, very recently this year, the Reuben Foster situation. Everybody wanted him cut. Yeah. We didn't really know anything, and it turned out the girlfriend made everything up and kind of made everybody who was yelling at the Niners to cut him kind of look really bad because he didn't do anything. So we got to at least get a little bit of due process first. I don't want to give the guy too much mercy, especially if he did it, but we got to get a little bit more facts before we rush to judgment.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Matt,
go ahead.
But wait, guys, the NFL doesn't operate with due process. They operate with Goodell process.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So there's no due process
investigation with another rich man that's friends with Roger Goodell. Like Ted Wells or Paul Tagliabue, and I mean that's the problem I have with the NFL is the NFL will not let the court. Yeah, I mean, I don't think somebody should be suspended until they've been convicted.
Yeah, that's kind of basically my position on it as well. Goodell seems to just make things up as he goes, as in like the Ray Rice case, where he just arbitrarily handed out suspension. The video popped up, and then we didn't. That's bad publicity. Yeah. Let's make it a little harsher.
He lied about not seeing the video.
Right, exactly. And so nobody's going to hold him accountable. He's just there to make the owners happy, make money. That's why he gets his extension. But now I would say the LaShawn McCoy thing. It'll be a lot like the Ezekiel Elliott case. They may try to suspend him. It'll get appealed. It'll go back and forth for a while.
All right.
Until that's something else important pops out.
So the other thing that happened yesterday, and there's video of it, is Pac-Man Jones. And Matt, my biggest question to you is this: should a grown man fight like that? Because the fighting there was really bad. It looked like a couple teenage girls fighting over, I don't know. I would have said something rude there. So
I saw the video.
Yeah.
I watched the video twice, and I noticed your comment. I don't know if you were kidding or if you were serious that he was attacked. So I wanted to see it a couple times.
The guy ran at him. And
basically speaking, I did see what you're talking about there. I wish we could see a little bit leading up to that because I don't know what the cause was, and you got the girlfriend trying to separate him. And
he's actually the whole video's up on YouTube now, but he's actually walking past this dude, and this guy for no reason starts yelling something at him. Pac-Man looks and yells something back, which is where the video that you saw picks up. And then when Pac-Man yelled back at him, the dude started coming after Pac-Man and threw a punch at him.
Right. I guess Pac-Man's got kind of a history on this stuff. It's whatever was the cause, it's in Pac-Man's best interest to just do everything he can to defuse the situation, not say anything and walk away. Just because you know how this thing goes.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's just not wired that way.
I think if somebody punches you in the mouth and you just walk away, I think you should be suspended.
Yeah.
See, and this is a discussion that Mike and I had yesterday. This manhood thing, I get the manhood thing.
It's not a manhood thing.
But
the dude punched him in the face.
Well, then walk away. You know what you do? You get on your phone, you call security, you call 911.
Right.
Somebody's got it on videotape. And you sue the airport, you sue TSA.
Okay,
you finish out his career making the biggest paycheck he's ever going to make.
Career.
And you walk away from it.
What makes you think that this guy that
ran
up
the way
and
he fought like
Okay, listen.
He fought like a girl. So no NFL team's going to touch him anymore.
You're just going to keep talking because you're wrong. So go ahead, keep talking because that's the only reason somebody would keep talking while I'm trying to tell you. Matt will tell you I never interrupt anybody. But this is the thing. This dude just ran up and punched him in the face. Maybe if Pac-Man's trying to call security, maybe this dude runs at him and keeps hitting him. Which I don't know. Think is a decent chance since the guy ran at him and hit him to begin with.
To me, they're just jaw-jacking.
He got punched in the mouth.
You protect your career.
He doesn't have
every
a career.
punch is another $1 million.
He's not in the NFL.
Is he trying to play?
Probably be in the NFL. He's not signed by anybody. The Bengals released him, and from what I'm told, they offered him a much smaller contract to come in and play special teams. He turned it down. So as of right now, he's not playing anywhere. He's what, a 33, 34, 35-year-old cornerback?
Right.
So I don't think he's playing anywhere anyways.
Well, priority number one should be to protect your career. But if you're not playing, well, then I guess stand up for yourself. It's maybe not very smart. You probably take the route where you sue, but I don't know.
We just found another career for him, though, because he fights like a basketball player. So now maybe he could be a small, undersized point guard in the NBA. Because that's how basketball players
That reminded me of the Aqib Talib Michael Crabtree fight over the gold chain.
That kind of makes me think that Steve Risley fights like a woman, too, probably. Since he played basketball.
I don't fight. I'm a pacifist. I walk away from it. I mean, I get the whole point of defending yourself, but I think that the smarter move here, I find it very difficult to believe that some guy just out of the blue walks up to Pac-Man Jones and just starts swearing at him and punch him in the face. Well, but,
how about
there had to be something leading up to that.
Let's not blame Pac-Man because, number one, the cops did not arrest him. They arrested the other guy.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine all those witnesses around there saw the entire incident and how it happened. But let's get off Pac-Man because we'll probably never talk about him again anyways unless it's about something stupid he did after his career was over. We're going to talk about something that's near and dear to Matt's heart, the San Francisco 49ers. One thing we need to address is all the poop in the streets of San Francisco, Matt. You want to address that?
I think they should clean it up.
Okay. Steve, do you agree?
It's a shitty thing to talk about as far as I'm concerned.
All right. So last year, the 49ers start off the season 0-9. They get Jimmy Garoppolo from the New England Patriots, gifted by Bill Belichick for whatever reason. They go in and they win 5 straight games at the end of last year. Matt, is this team for real? Or are we reading too much into a 5-game winning streak at the end of the season where maybe one of those wins was over a team that was really good?
Well, the only way to answer that, I need to know what you guys mean by for real.
Well, for real to me,
are you saying go ahead.
This is the thing. What I see with 49ers sites is I see 49ers people talking that maybe they're a Super Bowl team. Maybe they can win a couple of games in the playoffs. And I have seen that.
Yeah, no question about it. There's definitely a portion of the fan base that believes that. I think they're a little going a little overboard there. But go ahead.
Oh,
so
yeah, I am.
What would be for real
and
what?
49ers because they beat my team in the Super Bowl twice, and you've done nothing but make fun of me ever since it's happened. To me, when I see the 49ers, I love Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought he was the best quarterback coming out of that draft a few years ago. I think he's legit.
Yeah.
I'm not completely sold on Kyle Shanahan. I'm not completely sold on John Lynch because I wasn't impressed with the Niners draft this year. And let's face it, right now, Lynch and Shanahan's jobs would probably be up in the air if they didn't get Garoppolo because they probably would have finished last year at best 2-14.
Yeah, I agree with that. They were well, okay, before I answer that, but so for real to you guys is to be a legitimate contender to go to the Super Bowl this year, or are we just talking make the playoffs?
For real is to make the playoffs and win a game.
Okay, then I think they're for real. Let me explain that. See, last year, by getting Jimmy Garoppolo, now you have a franchise quarterback who's accurate, mobile, and he gets the ball out quick. You don't just go get a quarterback like that. They've been trying for a while to get a quarterback like that. They failed. Last year, they went into the season with Brian Hoyer, your favorite quarterback, and rookie draft pick C.J. Beathard. They started 0-9, and they were near the bottom of every statistical category. They get Jimmy Garoppolo, and now they're near the top of every statistical category with the same personnel. Offensive line efficiency jumped. They went from number 1 in yards, number 2 in points, jumped to number 3 in third down percentage. They were, they went off the charts statistically in those last 5 games, and that's just making the change at quarterback. They also, another reason why I think that they're going to be much better this year is last year, we just look at the 0-9. They lost 5 games by 3 points each game. That was without Garoppolo against some good teams. They showed a lot of growth.
Every team in the NFL, though. Nobody's getting
I'm just saying, though.
Consistently.
Well, I'm just saying, though, that's 5 games. That's a potential playoff team. They win those 5 games. They've made a lot of growth in year one with pretty marginal personnel. Now, I just don't think there's any reason to think they decline. Because they improved even more in the offseason.
Well, I don't think
they got a lot of speed playmakers.
Decline.
What was that?
I don't think there's any way they decline.
Yeah. I think 10 wins with a franchise quarterback. Shanahan's offense, he's had success everywhere he's gone. And I do like at least some of the draft picks, especially Austin Pettis, who I believe that's one guy that you like, who can play all the positions at wide receiver.
But
I think he just makes that offense more dangerous.
Yeah, but I think when you look at this team, the question that I have, if they're going to be a serious contender, is the offensive line. I don't think McGlinchey is anything that's maybe in a couple of years he does. But when you look at last year, they beat the Bears 15-14. They beat the Houston Texans, who were 1-9 without Deshaun Watson. They beat the Titans, who I know they're technically a playoff team, but if you look at the Titans, I don't know that they beat a team that was above 500 last year. They beat the Jaguars, which is a good quality win at home. They beat the Rams 34-13, but it's at L.A., and the Rams seem determined to lose that game. So I don't think you can really read much into that either. And I think my biggest question with the 49ers is the offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive line would be the biggest question mark going in to the season. It was addressed, and there are question marks over the line. But, as we've talked about in the past, there are not a lot of good offensive lines in the NFL. It's because, largely just because you don't have a lot of quality guys coming out of college just because of the way the college game is played. But with Jimmy Garoppolo last year, getting the ball out quick, their offensive line with the same personnel, it was worse last year than it's going to be this year. It jumped from pretty bad to top 10 in efficiency. So, just because he can get the ball out quick, that really does help your line.
All right, Steve.
Yeah. I'm not a big 49ers fan to begin with. I'm not you're just another team to me that faces my Colts or my adopted team, the Rams. So, I don't think they're going to contend the Rams, because the Rams are supposed to have a pretty high-powered offense this year. I think they improved. I think Garoppolo was a steal. I think they're going in the right direction. Shanahan's a fairly well-proven coach. And he's had moderate success wherever he's gone. And with a player of Garoppolo, a player like Garoppolo makes any coach look better. And I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think they're, like you said, they're going to make the playoffs. I think they can win one game, maybe two. But, I don't see them doing much more than that this year. Yeah.
Right. This year, the Rams, and I want to be very clear about this, the Rams, the Eagles, and the Vikings are the 3 best teams in the NFC. There's no doubt about that. They're
Saints.
Likely all going to win their divisions. Yeah, and the Saints. Right. I just think there's going to be several teams competing for the wild cards. I think the Niners are just one of those teams, and they could win one game in the playoffs. I think anything more than that is a stretch.
Yeah, and I think
go
ahead.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is the thing with the playoffs is like in having done this with the basketball tournament, one and done is a different breed of cat. And Garoppolo is the kind of player that can step up, and he lives for one and done. He's such a great young quarterback that, and he's unknown really for the most part as to how he handles pressure. And he's a guy that can all of a sudden rise to the occasion and just, one and done games. All he's got to do is play good for, the 60 minutes of the game, and it's a different ball game. And the 49ers with a quarterback like that, they're going to be dangerous to everybody. They were a pushover team last year until he came, and now the 49ers are no longer a pushover team, in my opinion.
All right, real quick, we've got a question from a caller, or not a caller, but a listener on Spreaker. It's a guy by the name of Lucas. It looks like he's a Canadian, so this is probably not going to be a very good question. Not because he's Canadian, but because his name's Lucas. He wants to know why there's no mention of the Carolina Panthers, because he thinks the Carolina Panthers are a really good team. Matt.
I think the Panthers are going to be one of those teams that compete for the wild card. I do think the Panthers are good. They're in a difficult division because you've got the Atlanta Falcons, who are still pretty good. They're not going to be what they were probably 2 years ago, but they're a wild card contending team. The Saints are definitely the best team in that division, but there's no doubt the Panthers are going to compete for the wild card.
Yeah,
but they're not the clear division winner to me.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the NFC West, I think the thing that helps the Niners in this is the division's not very good. I know.
Yeah, it's just the Rams now.
Yeah, it's the Rams. The Seahawks have nothing. I mean, when you look at them, they got Russell Wilson, so they'll win 6 or 7 games just because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, I think. But when you look at this division, it's wide open, and the thing about that is that means you get to play, 4 games right there against teams that you should be able to beat.
Right. Right. So yeah, I would say the Panthers might have a more difficult road concerning the division. That is just because the Falcons and the Saints are there, and Tampa Bay was actually pretty good. I mean, the Jameis Winston suspension I think is going to hurt them, but we talked about this last year, Mike. We thought Tampa Bay was on the verge of making the playoffs. I mean, so potentially all 4 of those teams are playoff teams.
Yeah, but the problem you got there is Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
But. And I just interject, Carolina's not going to be any good until they find a quarterback that can play quarterback.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean,
I'm not big on
you're not
Newton
going to
either.
win the Super Bowl until you get a quarterback in Carolina, and Cam Newton's not that guy.
Right, is not the guy.
Yeah, he completes
55%
of his passes. He pouts like a baby
Good
when
player.
things go wrong. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just leave it at that. I just think he's overrated. We are going to have to wrap this show up now. We have to be done because we have a meeting with some very powerful people. Or Steve just has to go take his dog out because the dog's barking. It could be either way. But now, this is the thing. Lucas Weiss just sent a message saying that Cam Newton is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Is this Lucas' character?
Maybe,
is this Lucas' character
it's not top 5.
Do we know is this Lucas' character from Canada?
Yeah, that's what I told you. It's Lucas Weiss. He thinks that Cam Newton is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Isn't he supposed to be preparing to cover the Iditarod for us?
Yeah,
plus he forget about what he's doing.
He started texting me a bunch of smack today too about how I was stupid for thinking Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And I was afraid to bring him on the show tomorrow to let him debate it too. So tomorrow at noon, the great debate will be, is Pete Rose a Hall of Famer? I'm against it.
Yes.
Steve Risley.
He is a Hall of Famer.
Josh Castro, who is a Major League Baseball beat writer, and Lucas Weiss are on the other side. So I'm going to take them all 1-on-3, and I'm going to slowly destroy all 3 of them because none of them can hang with me on this topic because none of them are smart enough to.
Matt, Pete Rose, Hall of Fame, yes or no? One answer. Yeah.
Mike, as far as the numbers, yes. But I think there's just too many other factors at play that would probably should keep him out.
Yeah,
but
see,
you got the talent
factor,
the numbers.
All 3 of you guys put together. So
I guarantee you can dig deep enough, you'll find factors on about 70% of the guys in the Hall of Fame.
You won't find one of them that violated their contract, which said they would be banned from baseball because there are none.
Oh no!
Except
they violated their contract for a myriad of other reasons.
Wait a second. You're talking about gambling, which is basically the biggest thing in all of this. Professional sports dies when people find out that the games are rigged by the players that play them. And that's what happened. Pete Rose rigged games. That's it.
Yeah. Bet against his own team. I mean, that's pretty crappy.
I mean, whenever you bet for your own team, or whenever you don't bet on your own team, you're betting against your team because if you're a bettor and you know you're going to win, you're going to bet it. But we will talk about it tomorrow when I kick all 3 of you use asses in this argument. Matt, I want to thank you for coming on. Steve, all right. All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
But we'll have to have you on when we got a little bit more time. All right, guys, check us out tomorrow with the Pete Rose debate. Should he be in the Hall of Fame or should he not be in the Hall of Fame? Remember, you can hear The Grueling Truth on Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn. Literally anywhere you find a sports podcast, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Matt Andruscavage, Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.